You know what really grinds my gears when it comes to fighting games? The plot is either extremely convoluted or non-existent. Until recently, it wasn't even common for a fighting game to have a story mode. And no, I'm not talking about those dumbass, let's have a conversation that leads to a random unneeded fight type of story. I'm talking about a full cinematic story mode experience that actually means shit. I shouldn't have to watch some poopy movie that may or may not be canon just to understand the origins of my favorite fighting game characters. I'm looking at you, Street Fighter.
What up, class? Welcome to another episode of Honest Gaming History. This week's lecture will be on Ryu's origin story starts off like many other male anime characters. He was orphaned at a young age and has no idea who his parents are.
Wow, that's original. As a boy, Ryu was taken in by a great martial arts master named Goken. Now, what's the first thing you do when you're an old man that just happens to find an orphaned boy on the street? You teach him how to f people up.
Goken trains Ryu in the art of Ansatsuken, the assassin's fist. As violent as that sounds, Goken's style of teaching enforced mercy and peace.
It's okay to dish out these hands, but don't go killing people, feel me?
After some time, an old friend of Goken visits to ask him to train his son. The kid was Ken Masters.
Goken realizes that he's basically running an orphanage now, and accepts the boy.
Originally, these kids hated each other, but then their bond slowly grew through training and they became brothers. After training the two fighters till they reached their 20s, Goken tells Ryu that it's time for him to travel the world and perfect his fighting style.
Get the f out of my dojo!
Ryu and Ken go their separate ways.
Ryu then enters the first World Warrior tournament. He takes out the competition and challenges the champion, Sagat.
Sagat defeats Ryu, then lets his guard down to help his adversary up.
What a stand-up guy.
But then, an evil and violent force takes over an unconscious Ryu.
Possessed by this force, Ryu gives Sagat the meanest wake-up Shoryuken in the world. You should have been blocking Sagat. You know the startup on that move is unreal.
Sagat gets knocked out and is left with a nasty scar. Ryu walks away as the champion? ?
He then seeks his master Goken, looking for answers. What was this dark force, and how did it compel him to almost kill a man?
Ryu walks into his dojo, but nothing could prepare him for what he was about to see.
Goken was dead. Like, really dead. Like, take dead, multiply that by dead, then raise that to the dead power.
Ryu drops everything and goes to find the bastard that killed the closest thing he had to a father.
He finds out that Goken's own brother, who goes by Akuma, is responsible for taking out his poor master.
Akuma tells Ryu that the dark force that consumed him was known as the Satsui No Hado. The Satsui No Hado is a dark force that grants the user immense strength at the cost of the user's own humanity. Akuma, who has already succumbed to the Satsui No Hado, sees the immense potential in Ryu and uses that as his motive to try and get Ryu to succumb to this dark force.
As you can tell, Akuma has problems.
Ryu is done listening to Akuma's bullshit, then challenges him to a fight.
Hold up. So you're telling me that this man Akuma killed Ryu's master?
Right.
And then this dude Ryu, who just won his last match off of some bullshit, may I remind you, decides that his next best move is to fight the guy who is not only stronger than his master, but is okay with just killing people like that.
That's right.
Somebody get their boy, cause this nigga is stupid.
Ryu somehow manages to win, but Akuma admits to going easy on him just to test his strength.
Then, as a way to show Ryu that he's not seeing him with the hands, Akuma uses the power of the Satsui No Hado to obliterate the island that they were fighting on. With one hand! Don't flex on that dude Akuma, cause that nigga's crazy.
Ryu escapes, then continues on his journey to learn about himself and perfecting his fighting style.
He ends up running into Ken and they fight because this is a fighting game and that's their only form of communication. Ken hands Ryu another L, but notices that something is off.
Ryu tells Ken about the unfortunate events that he went through, and as a way to help Ryu focus, Ken gives him his red hair tie.
Later on, he runs into a teenage girl named Sakura who absolutely adores him.
Sakura has heard of Ryu's strength and starts begging him to train her.
Ryu politely curves her ass, but takes a selfie with her so she feels better.
Even later on, Ryu runs into Sagat.
Now, I'm sure you guys understand that Sagat has been fiending for a rematch ever since the bullshit that happened in the first World Warrior tournament. Ryu tells him to calm the f down because a little gift he left him on his chest has not healed yet.
Sagat does not take no for an answer, so Ryu entertains him and just gives him the win.
2 years go by, and Ryu is still doing his same old thing, wandering around the world, training, and trying to keep his Satsui No Hado in check.
Elsewhere, Bison, the leader of the criminal organization known as Shadaloo, grows interested in our Japanese hobo. He wants Ryu to join his forces, so he takes it upon himself to start looking for him.
Ryu doesn't know about this, so he just continues wandering around like nothing is going on. He runs into a mysterious woman named Rose who warns him about Bison. For a hobo, Ryu runs into a lot of important people. Shit makes no sense.
Ryu ends up confronting Bison. Bison invites him to join Shadaloo, promising that he will make him the strongest fighter ever.
Ryu declines the invitation, and they fight because, in case you forgot, this is a fighting game, and that's what you do. Ryu then takes another L from Bison, and he tries to control Ryu's unconscious body using his psycho powers.
For one of the most well-known fighting game characters, Ryu sure gets his ass beat a lot.
When all hope seems lost for Ryu, Ken, Sakura, and Sagat bust in to save his ass.
Well, Ken and Sakura come to save his ass. Sagat just came for another match because he knows that Ryu gave him that previous win.
Sakura and Ken distract Bison while Sagat fights to mind control Ryu. But because Sagat is actually a stand-up guy, he puts most of his effort in snapping Ryu out of his mind control. And he succeeds!
A now recovered Ryu goes at Bison a second time and succeeds in defeating him. Ryu then leaves his friends and continues to train and question the Satsui No Hado that is still lurking in his body.
Ryu ends up joining the Second World Warrior tournament.
In the middle of the tournament, Bison makes his return and it's up to Ryu and his friends to take him out for a second time.
They defeat Bison again and they go their separate ways. Again. After some more time traveling, Ryu finds out that agents from a faction of Shadaloo known as SIN are after him. Cause what's a criminal organization without a Japanese hobo who helicopter kicks people?
Guile, an American military man and close friend of Ryu, plans on taking down Sin because they're evil, and America doesn't with evil. Ryu hears about this and joins Guile on his mission, because the last time a criminal organization was after him, it did not go well.
Ryu, Ken, and Guile enter the Sin headquarters and take out multiple henchmen.
Ryu then confronts Seth, the leader of Sin, and a fight ensues. Seth gains the upper hand and proceeds to beat the tar out of Ryu,
getting his ass whooped as usual.
Just when it seems like it's over for our hero, a strange power awakens within him, but it's not the Satsui No Hado.
Ryu defeats Seth, but Seth manages to escape since Ryu knocks out from fatigue.
After the mission meant to destroy Sin, Ryu and the others part ways. They end up meeting in the next World Warrior tournament.
This tournament was being hosted by a clone of Seth? Clone?
Yup. Looks like the Seth that Ryu fought died.
The Seth? So there is more than one Seth?
Looks like it. Bison made multiple Seths as perfect vessels for his soul once his current body becomes useless. The Seth that Ryu fought had too much free will, so he disposed of him. Then some chick named Jury finished him off.
Street Fighter, ladies and gentlemen. A clone of Seth is hosting this tournament and Ryu enters hoping to improve his skills.
During this tournament, he has another friendly match with Ken and finally gives Sagat the rematch he was begging for years.
Ryu wins this time and proceeds to the final round. He defeats the clone Seth and destroys a biological weapon that was being developed by Sin.
After the tournament, Ryu continues his journey and runs into an old friend of his.
It's his master/father, Goken.
So apparently, when Akuma finished Goken, Goken actually used something called the power of nothingness to empty his soul and force himself into a deep coma.
That makes no fucking sense.
It doesn't. That's just lazy writing.
Capcom, get your shit together.
Goken is well aware of the Satsui No Hado that is torturing Ryu, so he uses the power of nothingness to seal this dark force away.
Ryu, feeling somewhat relieved, bids his master adieu and continues on his journey. Emphasis on the somewhat part.
After some time, Ryu meets up with Daoism, the Indian yoga master, and tells him that he is still being bothered by the Satsui No Hado. Daoism tells Ryu that he needs to stop compressing the power of the Satsui No Hado. He needs to conquer it so that it does not consume him.
As they're talking, a mysterious figure appears out of nowhere and demands to fight. This dude looked like Broly if Broly decided to be a Jamaican for a week.
Ryu is forced to fight Nakali, but Nakali overpowers him.
As usual.
Ryu is then forced to use the Satsui No Hado to defend himself, but Daoism blocks Ryu's next attack.
He tells Ryu, bro, what did I tell you about that Satsui No Hado bullshit?
Daoism has to take care of Nakali instead, and he forces Nakali to flee.
Daoism tells Ryu that that man is an ancient warrior that devours souls, and he only appears when warriors are needed to save the world from a crisis.
Ryu takes this as his cue to save the world, then he reunites with his friends for one last adventure. It turns out that Shadaloo was at it again, so they work together to destroy Shadaloo once and for all.
Ryu engages M. Bison, and for the most part, they seem evenly matched. So for the first time, a main antagonist does not completely beat the tar out of Ryu. To finally finish off Bison, Ryu shows that he has succeeded in conquering the Satsui No Hado by tapping into the power of nothingness.
He uses this newfound power to finally put an end to Bison, and Ryu and friends destroy the Shadaloo base.
After these series of events, Ryu and Ken decide to have a friendly sparring match.
Another one.
Ryu defeats Ken, and for the first time in his life, he is content with himself and how strong he has gotten as a fighter. The two say their goodbyes, then part ways, hoping to meet each other again soon.
Many years go by, and when it comes to the Street Fighter story, Ryu kinda just falls off.
He enters another World Warrior tournament, but not much is said about how far he gets or what he does in it.
He ends up fighting and developing a rivalry with Hugo the wrestler and Alex from New York.
But other than that, Ryu doesn't really do much.
With him finally overcoming the Satsui No Hado and slowly mastering the power of nothingness, we can confidently assume that Ryu's story is over.
Thank you so much for watching this video, Donchi fam. I'm trying to stick with my pledge of making this video a weekly thing instead of being a semi-monthly thing. But this takes a lot of effort to get out, so please bear with me if I don't get it right every single week. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, hit that thumbs up. Let's try to get this video to at least 500 likes. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification button so that you know whenever I upload a video, and share it with everyone you know. Thank you to my loyal patrons who helped to not only make this video possible, but this whole channel possible. If you are not already a patron, go to my Patreon page in the description below and find out how you can support the channel and get some dope ass rewards at the same time. I have not decided who I'm going to cover next week. I'll try to come back to you guys with that information as soon as possible. And I'm extending my pin giveaway for another week. So if you have not already, please do not forget to share one of my videos and DM me the proof, and you will enter in a chance to win one of these pins. That's all I gotta say. So as usual, be easy, stay lit, and take care.